Hey guys, thank you so much for hopping on the team call tonight with Brad Bizjack, who is one of my favorite team call persons ever. He's super motivating. I still listen to our team call from you last year when I need to get inspired again to rock this business. So a couple of things. It is the second of the month. We have a whole new month in front of us. All of our challenge packs that are super big sellers are still on sale. Bod still comes with the containers, 21-day fix, 21-day fix extreme, PIO, size, country heat, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So make sure that you are picking a program, you're sticking with your program, you're sharing your program, and having other people get inspired to join you. I don't want to take up any more of Brad's time here since he's already got a long thing to talk about. So I'm going to mute myself and Brad, take it away.
Awesome. I am pumped to talk to you guys. Everyone doing good? Can you guys hear me? Everyone can hear me? Sweet. Okay. So first of all, thanks for taking the time out of your night to be on this call. I mean, that's like really one of the biggest signs of successful people, right? Is that they see learning as something that's a great opportunity and they don't see it as a chore, right? I remember like I would always talk to my coach about how like you got to get on these calls. It's always a great opportunity to learn and grow. And I remember always soaking it up and wanting to be present and be on these calls. So props to you guys because you see it as a way to grow your business, which is awesome, instead of like another meeting you have to be at on Sunday night, right? So my goal tonight is to talk to you guys about goal setting, but we are going to do it in a very, very, very different way than most likely have ever done before. And so we're going to take massive action to get there. And this stuff isn't stuff that I just came up with. This is stuff that I've learned through personal development, constant daily personal development over and over again. This is stuff that I've learned through experts, right? Like you'll see tonight how going through that third vital behavior, which I really consider to be the first vital behavior, it shows you how learning from those experts really does make a difference, not just on your business, but your quality of life. So if you're dissatisfied in any way at all right now with your business whatsoever, I want you guys to get really, really, really excited because dissatisfaction is a gem as long as you use it, right? And tonight there's going to be a lot of little nuggets. I don't want you guys to focus on just writing everything down. I want you to focus on the things that really, really hit you, and then we'll take action from there. So what I want you guys to do right now is write down on your sheet of paper in front of you, what is your huge goal for this year? And write that down in big, bold letters on your sheet in front of you. And put a date on it. Just what is your big goal by when? And this is the only boring part about goal setting that I'll talk about today. But right there, you achieve something that most people who have these dreams with this business don't do. You wrote down your goal, right? And so what I want you guys to do after this call is take it and just put it behind your computer, right? And stare at it every single day when you come to work. So it just reminds your mind to focus on what you want. And that's the only part of boring part of goal setting that I'll talk about. But without writing it down, you're just wishing for it, and that's never going to work. So have you guys ever wondered, like, why don't we achieve goals? Have you ever wondered, like, when people fail to achieve what they want, why is that? Like, have you ever, and keep in mind, guys, this is a lot easier to teach than it is to implement, right? So, like, why don't we achieve goals? When people fail to achieve what they want, it's really, really simple. The biggest illusion we have in life is that we believe we're missing the resources to make something happen, right? Like, well, you always hear from coaches, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have the patience, I don't have the whatever it is, right? I'm not good at social media, I don't have enough friends. And some fear has convinced us in relation to coaching, but this can go for all categories of life, that we're missing resources to make it happen. But that's not the problem, guys. The problem is the lack of resourcefulness. That's the true problem. The real resource you need is resourcefulness. And when you think about that, I'll prove it to you how that's true, right? So let's use the most basic example of the minimum expectation of a coach, and that's Success Club, right? You are expected as a coach to hit Success Club no matter what, right? That's the minimum expectation. And we always hear, well, I don't have time for more conversations, or I don't know enough people, and whatever it is. I'll let you have that illusion for just a couple of seconds. But right now, I want you to picture the person that you love the most in your life. Like, picture them for a second. Maybe it's a baby you just had. Maybe it's your spouse. If you're not with anyone, maybe it's a best friend or a pet. And really think about them. Think about all the memories that you had together. What makes you love them so incredibly much? and think about all the experiences and all the things that you had throughout your life. And imagine for 1 second that you found out that they had terminal illness, it's some sort of terminal illness, and they had 10 years to live. And you couldn't leave your job because you have to find a way to pay for their medical treatments, right? But you also know that if you bust your ass with this business for a year or two, you can spend the remainder of their life with them as much time as you want and not have to be at that job. So think about it. With that being known, how resourceful would you be, right? How hard would Success Club really be? Like, it'd be pretty freaking easy, right? If you had a reason to do it. How about Success Club 10? It would be a joke. And the reason is because you have a purpose behind it. Guys, when your purpose is deep enough, taking action becomes second nature and you just do. You find a way. You don't need a magical lightning bolt of motivation to strike you in the ass. You just find a way to do it, right? I think last time I talked to you guys, I talked about this metaphor with a compass and how your purpose is similar to a compass. Like if you're out sailing a ship in the middle of the ocean. And when you're out there, and you have your compass, right, your purpose, and a storm comes, which, guys, the storm of life will always come. There will always be shit that gets in the way. And when the storm of life comes and there's 50-foot waves in every single direction and the clouds are blocking the stars so you can't navigate by the stars, you can still steer your ship and you're further along in the direction you need to be, right? And then all those other people that set out without a compass are scrambling in a panic or trying to figure out where the heck they are. So when the storm subsides, when all those things in life subside, which they always will, you're further along, right? So think about that. You have a purpose. You have a reason. It's that internal guide. So when Success Club 10 or Success Club 5 come to mind and you have that reason, right, that reason we just talked about with the terminal illness, how hard would it be? It would be super, super easy. So I just proved to you right there that you'd find a way to make it happen. Or if I said, hey, you know what, Rachel, you need to find $20,000 within half an hour from now, or your entire family was going to die of this magical disease that kills everyone if you don't find this prescription, right? You'd find a freaking way to find $20,000, right? Because you have a reason. So I just proved to you right there that the biggest illusion in life is that we believe we're missing the resources to make a goal come true. And that's not the real issue. The real issue is the lack of resourcefulness. So how we get resources is very simple. It's human emotion. That's it. Human emotion. It's the driver of finding resources. Think about the way you're facing any sort of problem in your business, right? Are you really frustrated or overwhelmed or bored or tired or lazy? Or are you passionate and driven and determined and excited, right? Like if we get out of our own head and we understand that like when we're emotional about something coming true, that emotion is going to drive resourcefulness and we'll find a way to get it done and it will lead to better decisions, right? Every single outcome in your business is fathered and mothered by your choices, right? Every action has a reason. And it's fathered or mothered by a decision in your mind to take action or not. So if you wonder why your life is the way it is right now, look at the choices you've made, right? Over the last 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. It's going to give you a damn good indicator of why you are exactly where you are, right? It has to do with our decision. And sure, there's stuff in your life that's happened. We'll talk about that in a second. But I look at some of the decisions I've made with my business. The first 2 years, I chased ego and I chased like getting my name known, and I didn't do the actual behaviors that I needed to do. And I had all this perceived success for the longest period of time, but my business was nothing. And then I changed it, right? And I stopped focusing on ego. And I made the decision to start doing the behaviors that it took to create success with this. And all of a sudden my business built. It's magic, right? It just has to do with your decision, right? So your decisions are indicators of where you are in life. And you could say, but this happened to me. Something happened to me. And I'm sure there are some things that happened to you, right? Maybe that weren't fair, or maybe whatever it is, right? Even something as sincere and horrible as a death in the family, right? Think about it though. And I'm not downplaying that. That's obviously a very difficult time. And if that's happened, I'm genuinely sorry. But think about it. In those tough times, what was your decision on how you responded to it, right? If it's something with work where your boss is making you stay late, what was your decision on how you responded? Did you decide to let that completely control you? Or did you decide to do something about it instead, right? And so there are 3 decisions that I've learned from Tony Robbins that really make or break any situation, right? And it changes the outcome of whatever you want. And we'll cover them throughout the call. But the first is decide what you're going to focus on. If you focus on fear, it becomes very, very real and you're going to feel it. If you focus on what you don't have, you will have less. If you focus on what you don't want or why things are not, things will never be. But if you change that focus and you focus on what you genuinely want, your brain can't tell the difference between a vivid desire and reality, and you find a way to make it possible. You find a way to be resourceful. Like, a lot of people focus on what they can't control, like if a coach quits or if someone says no, right? They focus on things that they literally have no control over as an excuse to get out of taking the necessary action, right? But if you change it and you focus on what you can control, your decisions, your invites, right? Your thoughts and the meaning you give to different situations in your life, you can be happy literally 100% of the time. You can live life in an amazing place 100% of the time. So whatever you focus on, you are going to feel regardless if it's true or not. Focus equals reality to the individual, even if it's not reality in actuality. Focus equals reality to the individual, even if it's not reality in actuality. The second decision you can make is, what does this mean to me, right? We'll cover that more than a little bit, but in general, is the situation really, really painful or is exciting, right? Is my student debt a horrible, horrible thing that I can blame other people for, or is it a gift that I can learn how to overcome something and create an abundance mindset, right? Like, what does it mean to you, right? And you can change that instantly, and I'll show you how. And then third decision is, what am I going to do, right? Because that state that you put yourself in, if you're disappointed or angry or sad or frustrated, you are going to take a completely different action than if you're grateful or happy or excited or passionate, right? Like, if you have the exact same problem, let's say you struggle hitting successful, let's say that's the problem, and you're approaching it saying, why won't people say yes to me? Or why is this cost objection always coming up? Or why is it so hard to find people? And you're starting to get pissed off about it, right? And it's starting to burn you out. Well, wouldn't your entire action and the outcome change if you said, you know what? This is an amazing challenge, right? Like, this is an awesome challenge. It's going to help me learn and grow, and it's going to teach me how to be resourceful and find a way to make it happen. I'm going to make that goal happen. Let's go figure out how. Same problem, completely different way to look at it, leads to a different decision and a different action. That different action leads to a different outcome, right? So we are the reason why we are where we are. We're getting in our business what we're tolerating, right? Everyone in their business is exactly where they deserve to be. And that was one of the hardest things, and it still hits me. Like, I am exactly where I deserve to be in my business, and so are you, right? Because what we do is based on the state that we're in. So if you're worried or overwhelmed, you're going to act differently than if you're determined and passionate, right? The meaning that you choose, and I want to say keyword choose, the meaning you choose to associate with every situation determines the action that you take, and that changes the outcome, right? So how you break this, how you get really good at this, and change the meaning of situations is you practice, right? This isn't going to be easy. It's not going to be easy to just snap your fingers and make something work. But think about it like this. If you've been writing with your right hand your entire life, and you've been writing down on a piece of paper, you've been writing with your right hand, it's your pattern that you go back to. It's a habit, right? You're writing with your right hand. And all of a sudden you learn that, holy shit, if I write with my left hand, my entire life can change. So you start writing with your left hand, and it's all scribbly and kind of messy and kind of sucks, right? And you go back to that habit of writing with your right hand because it's easier. You know how to do it, right? That's how you have to practice this. That's how you have to condition this. You get good at writing with your left hand, thinking this way is the metaphor, by practicing writing with your left hand, even though it's easier and natural to go back to writing with your right hand, right? So you can condition your mind to change how you feel in any given second. Every situation you guys face in your life, every circumstance can be a powerful thing with practice, right? And you can change the meaning of it. So all of a sudden, not knowing enough people can mean there's an opportunity to meet more people. All of a sudden, being dead broke can mean there's an opportunity to learn how to manage your money, right? All of a sudden, being at a job that you hate can mean there's an opportunity to learn how not to lead your team, and you can help your team better, right? All of a sudden, being in this leadership position where you feel stuck, story of my life, right? Where you feel stuck can mean there's an opportunity to become a better leader and help your team grow. You can change what it means to you. So, personal example, I used to blame my mother for so much in my life, right? There's three situations that I remember specifically that really just screwed with my self-worth. One was like, when I would walk in the door every single day and I would turn down the hallway and I'd see her at her computer desk playing her game, smoking on a cigarette, I'd walk in the door from school or from football practice or whatever it was, and I'd be like, hey, Mom, how's it going? And she'd be like, And sometimes she would ask me how my day was. Sometimes she would just say, shut up and go to your room, right? Or like, I don't need the opinion of a punk kid. And just like verbal abuse that I'm not going to get into a lot of detail about throughout my entire life, literally every day. And I led my adult life feeling inadequate, not worthy. I always craved for love, but I never really felt like I got it, right? And then there was a situation with money where my grandmother was kind enough to save a ton of money for me to go to college with. And I'm very grateful, right? That's an amazing gesture. Well, when I got there, it was gone. And by no means am I entitled to that, but right, I blamed my mom for the debt that I was in because that was taken. And then there was the relationship with my dad. And I used to see them fight and scream literally every day, every single day. And I remember just pouring soap on someone's neck, right? Telling them to shut up and screaming in front of me and my little brother. We were little kids. And it taught me everything bad about a relationship, like relationships equal pain, right? And so I would blame my mom for so much. And this relates to coaching. You'll see why in a second. But if you have shit going on in your life, if you're going to blame someone or something for what happened, then you better blame them for the good stuff that came of it too. I guarantee you there's a fire in your ass that came from that situation, right? Like with my mom making me feel that way when I was a kid. Sure, I'm allowed to blame her for that. But if I'm going to blame her for that, I better blame her for the drive that it created in me, right? If I'm going to blame her for the debt that I'm in, well, I better blame her for my drive to be financially abundant, right? Or if I'm going to blame her for the relationship she had with my dad and how it was a bad example and how it was painful to watch my parents go through that and ultimately get divorced, well, then I better blame her for my drive to be a great spouse to her, right? Because without my mom, without those things that happened in my life, without the pain of all that stuff happening, I would not be me. I would not be the person I am today. I wouldn't have the character that I have today. So I had to condition that. After 26 years, all I did was change the meaning of what the relationship with my mom meant to me, right? And now we talk all the time. Now we have a great relationship and I love her. I love her to death, right? Because I just changed what it meant. And I'm grateful that she treated me that way when I was a kid. So every morning I have basically a thing that I do every single day called priming by Tony Robbins. If you guys go to tonyrobbins.com/momentum, tonyrobbins.com/momentum, and you scroll to the bottom of the screen, there's a little 14-minute audio. And in that audio, it helps you get really, really grateful for the situation you're already in, because you cannot have more unless you're already grateful for what you have. And strive to be more while also being very happy with what you already have, right? And it teaches you how to do that. And it helps you focus on what you want. And so think about it. Like if you wake up every single day and your spouse is running late for work and you bang your toe on the nightstand and your dog shits on the carpet and you have to stay late at that job that you have and you don't want to be there and you get home late, you miss dinner, you can't give your kids a kiss goodnight, and you got to do it all again the next day, right? And you screwed up a meeting, whatever it was. That's a pretty bad day to most people. Would you agree? That's a pretty bad day. But if the first thing you focused on every single day, would your entire day change? If the first thing you focus on is, you know what? I'm just so grateful that I have a job, that I have the ability to earn an income, that I have the ability to provide for my family, that I'm married to an amazing man or woman, that I have this dog that makes me laugh and smile all the time, even though they're a pain in the ass, right? Like, think about that. Like, most of this world lives on $900 a year, and we're complaining about the job that we have, right? Like, think about it. Would our entire day go differently if we focused on what we're grateful for before we started our day? And so then when you get done with that, you focus on what you want to happen, right? Like, I focus on what I want instead of what I don't want, right? So if you are focusing on how you don't know enough people to hit Success Club and that's your worry, well, no shit, you're not in Success Club. You're not focusing on how you more people, you're focusing on how you don't know enough. Or if you're tired today or you don't have enough time, like how would your day be different if instead you focus on, you know what, I am so pumped up because I am working towards 5-star elite this year and I am so passionate with what I do and I'm able to help all these people, right? And I'm pumped up for the passion that I'm going to create in so many other people's lives. Then I'm going to walk across stage as a coach, as elite coach, whatever it is, right? If you focus on the result you want instead of what you don't want, everything changes. When you trade your expectations for appreciations, life changes instantly. Your view of life literally determines your future. So if you every single day condition your mind to be at its best, right? Conditioned to be grateful and focusing on what you want, and all that anxiety, all that overwhelm, all that depression, that fear, it's going to go away. Those are things, yes, there's biochemical things that cause that. I agree with that. But it's also something we do. In my opinion, we don't get angry. We aren't angry people. We do angry. We don't have depression. We do depression. And that's very hard to hear if it's something you struggle with. And yes, I'm saying there's a biological component too. But if you're bouncing around and smiling and happy with music playing, do you feel depressed in that second? The answer is no, right? So it shows that we're doing it, right? And so every single day you start to become more and more excited. If you guys are stressed out in your life, understand that stress literally just means that you're afraid. Stress is the code word for fear. Stress comes from associating the meaning that something's more important than it really is, right? That's what stress is. So if you train your mind the same way you work out with a fitness program and you condition yourself to be your best, your quality of your life is always in direct proportion to the quality of your emotions on a day-to-day basis, right? Because in any moment in time, every single person on this call, every single person in the world can focus on what's wrong, because what's wrong is always available to you. But you know what? So is what's right. You can focus on what's right. So push against those problems instead of giving into them. Guys, the only people that don't have problems, if you don't have problems, you don't have a life, right? The only people that don't have problems are dead. Problems are a good thing. If you don't have problems, like, problems are literally just the resistance that you push against to sculpt your future. That's a problem, right? It's a good thing. And you have to see it that way. So take it and make the primary emotions in life the ones that you actually want, because you literally control it. And when you view your life as extraordinary, it doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone around you, and people give it back. I can guarantee you that you guys feel something right now, right? You feel something from this call. That is a function of me living in this state, right? So imagine every single day, if you led with that feeling that you want every single day with your invites, how many people you're going to make feel amazing, right? So we're going to transition now and go into a little bit about action, right? And do some action steps. And I want you guys to do this exercise when we leave this call today. After the call, I want you guys to write down 3 action steps that you absolutely must take to get to your goal, that you've been either procrastinating on, or you're not doing enough of, or you know you could be doing more of. And we're going to write those 3 things down, and we're cutting off all ties, not a decision to try, not an I know I should, because we all know that's bullshit, right? It's a decision with no backup plan that this is what you're doing and where you want to go. And you're going to write those 3 things down, and we're going to go through this next series after the call for the homework, right? So this next piece is big, and it's about pain versus pleasure, and how going through this exercise is literally going to change like any action you take on your goals. It's going to make or break it. And it will show us how some of the decisions we make on not taking action are really, really silly. So we know that big goal that we need to achieve, and we know the 3 action steps to get there, right? That's after the call, right? But sometimes there's that mental block getting in the way, right? We know how important it is to invite on a daily basis, and we absolutely must do it every single day or our business won't grow. But we find ourselves on the couch sometimes. Why is that? You guys ever wonder that? Same thing with your other vital behaviors. It has to do with pain versus pleasure. That's it. As humans, all of our decisions, like our brains are not wired to be happy. They're wired to survive. If you think about it, 2,000 years ago, you weren't worried about what someone was going to think of you in a Facebook post. You were worried about the saber-tooth tiger that was hiding in the bushes and how the hell you were going to eat. So your brain is wired to survive, not be happy. You have to train it to be happy. So as humans, all of our decisions are driven by our thoughts and our need to either avoid pain at all costs or gain pleasure. And how we associate those things makes a huge impact here. So procrastination. How many of you guys have procrastinated? Don't lie. I am guilty, right? So, and I'm still guilty. Guys, like I said, this is easier to teach than it is to do. But when you make little improvements in this every single day, your life changes. So procrastination, why do we do that? Why do we procrastinate? It's very, very simple. Procrastination means that we believe that taking action would be more painful, and we experience less pain by doing nothing. That's procrastination, right? Human beings do so much to avoid feeling any sort of pain. Our brains will literally fight us to avoid uncomfortable situations. And if there's ever a decision about an action, we're always going to choose the lesser of the 2 pains. So how you get through this is self-awareness. I'm going to give you an exercise that's going to change that, right? Our reality is based on what we focus on. So like we talked about in the beginning. So if we focus on the bad, the pain that it causes us to invite, that we might be judged or that we might get rejected, obviously not going to do it. But if you focus on the pain of not doing it or the pleasure from doing it instead, you can condition your mind to do it and focus on making it happen and essentially use pain and pleasure. And here's how you do it. So we won't do it right now because of time, but for those 3 action steps you're going to do after your call. And really do this, because if it's in your head, this will not work. I promise you, this will not work if it's in your mind. Number 1, what are the actions that you need to take? Right? You did that. You identified them. So let's say one of my actions is I need to invite 10 people to the business opportunity every single day. Crazy action to some people, right? But let's say that's what it is. And then number 2, what's the current pain that I associate with taking action on it? That's number 2. What's the current pain I associate with taking action on it? And that might mean that it takes some time. That might mean that we're afraid of being rejected, that we'd rather have people come to me, that I have self-doubt that I can even be successful at this, that it feels uncomfortable. That's number 2. What is the current pain? Write down all the reasons. Number 3, what is the current pleasure that you're getting from not following through? You're getting something out of it. You're getting something from it, right? That might mean more TV time, an episode of Game of Thrones, whatever it is, more time with your husband or your wife. You're getting something from it. Write that down. What are you getting from avoiding this? Because you're getting something. Number 4, this is where you're going to have the kicker. This is where your eyes are going to open up. And literally write this out, because if it's in your mind, it will not work. What will it cost me emotionally 2 years from now if I don't start taking action immediately? What will it cost me emotionally 2 years from now if I don't start taking action immediately? If I don't invite those 10 people every single day? I won't be up on stage, right? Walking across stage at Summit. I'll find myself at events wishing I was up there. I'll stay in debt so much longer. I won't have the freedom to travel. I won't be able to pay for my kids' college educations. I'll feel like my parents did, right? I won't give my future kids the stress-free lifestyle they deserve. Right? I won't be able to have a dream vacation or a dream wedding. Like, think about that. Like, I won't be fulfilling my purpose. Like, what's really more painful to you guys, right? Like, taking action on a dream or ending up in the same exact spot in life, right? And then there's the kicker, number 5. Like, think about this. Number 5, what will I gain emotionally 2 years from now if I take action every single day starting right now? What will I gain emotionally 2 years from now if I take action every single day starting right now? That might mean a life of complete and total freedom. That might mean debt-free. That might mean a leader within the Beachbody community. You'll have your dream vacation or dream wedding, whatever it is. You'll grow into an incredible leader. You'll be on a path to retire your parents, whatever it is. Think about the gravity of all of that stuff. When you do this exercise, think about it. What is really more pleasurable? A little bit of TV time or complete and total freedom in your life? What's really more painful, right? Being afraid of what someone might say, being afraid of rejection, or finding yourself 2 years down the road in the exact same spot? What's really more painful, right? And you get good at this by continuously practicing. Repetition is the mother of skill. And you have to get to the point where you absolutely must change. Guys, avoiding this will never work. Understand that you will never escape your way to fulfillment. That's a huge point for a lot of people here. You will never escape your way to fulfillment. And that big goal that you have is literally a couple of mental decisions away from fulfillment. If it's a must, you're going to make it happen. Go back to the example in the beginning about the terminal illness, right? And if you're unreasonable about this and you don't apologize for it and you just break away from that culture that tells you to be less than you can really be, and you get out of that life where you're really not quite that happy, but you're not unhappy enough to do anything about it yet, get out of that. Guys, whatever you focus on consistently in life, you're going to feel. So if you have big dreams of leaving your job this year, you can have that. You just have to condition your mind to focus on it and practice associating more pain with not doing it than with doing it, right? So all Beachbody is, guys, is a vehicle. It's a vehicle to get you to your purpose. It's not your life. It should never be your life. It's a vehicle. And I'll give you a little tip that has made a huge difference in my life, a huge difference. Whatever you want to feel in your life, give it. Give it unapologetically. Whatever you want to feel, give it. Most people want to feel significant. They want to feel loved. They want to feel important. They want to feel on fire, right? I do. Just imagine how big of an impact it would make with your team if you lit up with passion every time you talk to them, even if they didn't have the energy. Even if you took that leadership role and you did it yourself. Think about it with your inviting. If you deeply tried to make someone feel loved and important and significant when you invite them, how great will the experience be even if they decide not to move forward with this? It would still be amazing. So instead of, hey, Rachel, I'm running a challenge group and I need 3 people. You want to do this, right? Why can't it be like, hey, Rachel, I remember hearing your story at Summit, my very first Summit, and it brought me to tears. And it was absolutely incredible when you were talking on stage and just hearing all these amazing things about what's happened in your life and watching you work so hard in your business. And every single time we get to talk, it's always so good to see you. And how's your family doing? What's been new with you? By the way, I was thinking about you. I know how busy you are, and I really am just curious. I started this group for people that are trying to get healthy that have really demanding jobs. I'm not sure if it's for you or not, but I thought you'd really love it and find a lot of value. Have you ever considered looking into something like that? Right? Like, that's genuine. That's real. Give what you want to feel, and you're going to feel what you gave. So if you say, hey, I'm running a challenge group and I need 3 people, you're going to feel pretty shitty about what happens, right? If you don't feel authentic, you feel like they were just a pawn, which they were if you do that. But if you go the other way, I can guarantee you that you'll make them feel just as great, or they'll make you feel just as great as you made them feel, right? Like, even when you're leading your coaches, if you lead your team and you come from a place of love instead of judgment, like, instead of why the fuck aren't you, can I say that? Sorry. Like, why aren't you doing this? Why can't it be like, hey, I want to help you. And I know that you're struggling and I'm here for you. And I want to care and help in any way that I can, right? Like, give what you want to feel and you're going to feel what you gave. So there isn't a secret, guys. There's no secret to this business. You know the vital behaviors, right? You know what it takes to invite, to be proof the products work, to consistently grow yourself, to recognize people for their actions, right? So don't focus on what you need to do because you already know what you need to do. Instead, ask yourself what the result you want really is, right? Focusing on what you need to do just makes you overwhelmed. Focusing on what you want will make you feel energized and excited, right? You got to be honest with yourself about where you're at, because honesty is freedom. You're never going to escape your way to fulfillment like we talked about. And what I'll close with here, guys, last 5 minutes, is the power of emotion. And thinking beyond goals, thinking bigger than Beachbody or rank or success club, thinking about your life. Our lives are dictated by the emotions that we feel the most often. Even if you don't like that emotion, it's where you live, right? Like, if you leave your house and it's messy, you're coming back either way. Beating this is not about denying negative emotion. Those are very, very real, but it's about using negative emotion to create positive change. So how you feel in any given moment is literally the result of the meaning you have given to the experience. If a man opens the door for a woman and she's really, really happy, it's not because he opened the door. It's because of what she associated him opening the door to mean, right? Because if he opens the door and she's all pissed off thinking, I can get it myself, I don't need you, the event never changed. She just associated something different with it, right? That's it. So whatever you're feeling at any time is never based on what you're going through in life. No matter what the circumstance, what you are feeling is never based on life. It's based on your interpretation of what it means. And you can literally change your happiness in a second by changing that. So an amazing example to prove to you what I mean, close your eyes. Actually do this, close your eyes for a second. And I want you to imagine that huge goal that you guys have, right? Imagine it for just a second, think about it, and really hope it comes true. Like, what do you feel when you hope for it? Like, what goes through your mind when you really hope that goal can come true? And keep your eyes closed. And I want you to imagine that same goal. But this time I want you to put yourself in a state of complete and total expectation. That is happening this year. Right now, you're going to be able to leave that job. You're going to be able to retire your spouse. You're going to be able to make that happen, to take your family on a vacation they've never gotten to take before. You're going to be able to do that. You're going to get to your goal weight or feel amazing in that swimsuit or whatever it is. You are going to make it happen. Expect it to happen. What do you feel when you expect it? And you guys can open your eyes, but think about this, right? Like, hoping is passive. If you guys haven't opened your eyes yet, you can. Like, hoping is passive, right? You focus on both possibilities, that it could happen and that it might not happen. But expecting, on the other hand, is intent. It focuses on one possibility. So when you look at those states you were in, you were able to hope it came true, right? And you were also able to expect that it came true, and both had a different emotion. So I just proved right there that you literally control what you feel. Nothing changed from the content of the goal. I just told you to expect it. That's it. So every single emotion that you have has a very positive purpose. Every single negative emotion is a good thing, right? Like, so recognize it when you feel it and appreciate it, because it's teaching you a lesson. And this goes way beyond goal setting. It goes to why we do what we do. Beachbody is not everything in your life. It's a vehicle to get you to specific needs. But delays are not denials unless you choose to give up. You don't control the events. You don't control if someone says no, if there's a return order, if a coach quits. You don't control that, but you do control what it means to you. So you got to find what your life is really about. And the majority of the results that you get in your business comes from the action that you take. The action that you take comes from the meaning you choose to give to it, right? And the activities that produce the results are known to you. You know what they are. And if you don't, they're in the training, or you can Google them. The only thing that matters is what goes on between your ears, right? And if you do that, you're able to condition your mind to focus on being grateful and what you want. You can have this amazing opportunity that you joined, right? You can make it happen. There is an amazing, life-changing opportunity knocking on your door right now. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be wrapped in something shiny. It's not going to be convenient, but something is telling you to stay. Something's telling you to be here on this call. So take this and use it and master your emotions and focus on gratitude and what you want instead of what most people do, which is shrink their dreams to the size of their income. You can build your income to create your dreams instead. And so, Rachel, I hope I rushed through that to make it in time, but I'll turn it back to you, my friend. But thank you very much for having me, guys. I really hope this was helpful.
That was so awesome. Thank you so much. We've got like 3 minutes. Did anybody have any questions they'd like to ask Brad? You can either unmute yourself or you can do the chat real fast. Kristen
Top
says,
3 personal development books?
Top 3 personal development books, man. For life in general, Life's Golden Ticket by Brendon Burchard. Just amazing. Life's Golden Ticket by Brendon Burchard. Incredible. I'm a big Tony Robbins guy. A lot of this I learned from him. Everything I learned today, everything that changed my business from this came from The Ultimate Edge by Tony Robbins. So I recommend taking a look at that. It's not a book. It's an audio program online. And there's just so many more. I don't even know. I'm looking at my bookshelf right now. If you guys haven't read Think and Grow Rich, that's an absolute must. And then obviously the staples of what Beachbody recommends. But The Ultimate Edge by Tony Robbins is what changed my entire business. And then getting to one of his actual events just changed my entire life. So I'm big into him, if you can't tell. But good question. Anybody else?
Anything you would share to brand new coaches? I know we have a few on this call that are pretty new.
Yeah.
One thing you could tell a brand new coach.
To a brand new coach, this is the long game. You have to be willing to do what's uncomfortable for 3 years if you want this to change your entire future. Every single day, show up, never give up, and any single bad thing that is perceived in your mind is really a gift. And if you look at it that way and you think that life is happening for you and not to you, all of a sudden everything changes and you find the solution instead of focusing on the problem. So stay here for 3 years doing what it takes every single day, and you'll have an amazing life. I promise you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
thank you so much, Brad. Again, you're awesome. I guess that's it. I'm going to go ahead and close it down. And I'll get the recording up on the team page. Hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your evening, and let's go kill this week.
Woo! Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.